NXT TAKEOVER New York. Ladies and gentlemen, my goodness, we have a front runner for pay-per-view of the year, and this is it because it was near perfect. I got my top takeaways. About to hop right on into that. Feel free to subscribe, hit that like button on YouTube, and also feel free to follow on Periscope. Man, just an incredible pay-per-view, and we're gonna start right at the top. My first takeaway is what an opener we had. Just a tremendous tag team match that could have main evented. There were pretty much all of these matches could have main evented the show. You know how crazy that is? Like, all of the matches could have main evented. So, looking at this match in particular, so many spots in this match that made you say, wow, man. Like, for example, Ricochet's fall away slam on, I think it was Hanson, that he caught off of the ropes and just cradled him up into a Scott Hall-esque fall away slam. It was just impressive. Hanson's clotheslines, where he's running back and forth to each corner, just impressive. Hanson's handspring back elbow on Ricochet, that sent the crowd into a frenzy. Man, this was an awesome match. I love the Aleister Black save, the springboard coup de grace to save the pinfall that the War Raiders had in the bag. This match had it all. The shooting star near fall that Ricochet had, I thought the match was over. I think we went from a black mass to Ricochet being tagged in to hitting a shooting star press, and I was like, okay, man, I think they're gonna win here. We got a cool near fall out of that. Match would end as the War Raiders would pick up the win on Ricochet, and it was a phenomenal match. Just a great match, and like, I was out of breath watching that opener. I mean, you can see I got the reaction video on YouTube and Periscope. War Raiders versus Ricochet and Aleister Black. I was just worn out, man. And we got the classy ending to the match. Both competitors shook hands, bowed, and we got the crowd ovation for Ricochet and Aleister Black as they head off into the main roster. This was an incredible tag match. Probably, and I'm just going off of my mind here, probably the best tag match I've seen of the year so far. I'd have to go back and think about all the tag matches that has going down throughout the year so far. Phenomenal match, man. So my next takeaway is that Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle has excellent chemistry, man. Phenomenal chemistry. We had a hot crowd for this match. We got 50-50 chants, Velveteen chants, and I'm not sure what the crowd was chanting for Matt Riddle. I can't remember. Was it Bro or Matt Riddle? But we had 50-50 chants. The crowd was into it. One of the things that I really liked about this match was that Riddle, for the most part, this match was about Matt Riddle, and he dominated the match. And he dominated the match as a heel. And I thought he did a phenomenal job. Like, I haven't really seen Matt Riddle just dominate the match in a heel manner, and he did a great job. I enjoyed it. I thought the spot where Matt Riddle hit the go to sleep, I think he's calling it the bro to sleep, which is hilarious. Like, I thought that was a phenomenal spot, even though I was like, man, you putting up them CM Punk moves, Triple H not gonna like that. Better watch out. Also, when Matt Riddle locked on the ankle lock, that was a point in the match to where you was thinking, this might be it. No Velveteen Dream escapes. Matt Riddle locks on the ankle lock again. You're like, this might be it. Some great near falls and some great near tap outs in this match that I really enjoyed. I think the spot of the entire match was when Velveteen Dream was on the apron and Matt Riddle hit the German suplex from the middle ropes, and he followed it with what he's calling the floating bro. That was a great near fall. I thought the match was completely over. Also, I love Velveteen Dream's Dream Valley Driver in this one as well. That was another near fall that was great. The match would end, interestingly enough, as Matt Riddle locked on the Bro Mission, and Velveteen Dream snuck in for a roll-up for the 1, 2, 3. I thought that was a phenomenal way to end the match. In my predictions, I said that, in my predictions on Periscope, I said that Velveteen Dream would get the victory here, and he would eventually lose that North American title, and it would be to Matt Riddle. This opens the door for the feud to continue. Matt Riddle had him beat. Velveteen Dream got lucky and rolled him up, and I thought it was a phenomenal way to close that match and to keep the feud going. As for the things that went on pre-match, Velveteen Dream in that Statue of Liberty costume was just phenomenal. I enjoyed it. Velveteen Dream is just on a completely different level with these entrances, these takeover entrances. I love him every single time. He does a phenomenal job, and I personally just cannot wait to see what's next. My next takeaway is that Walter and Pete Dunne had a main event feel. You could just feel it when these guys were walking to the ring. Walter was walking to the ring, and when Pete Dunne came out, the entrance music is just one of the best in the business. And you just feel it. It felt like a big fight feel. Felt like a main event feel. And I gotta say that these guys had a lot to live up to. Those first two matches were phenomenal. And towards the beginning of the match, it really felt slow. Like we really got off to a slow start out of the blocks, I gotta admit. This was a very stiff match. Like this, I'm calling it the stiffest match of 2019, at least from the matches that I've seen. The stiffest match of 2019. We had a spot here where they were going back and forth with chops. Walter chops, those fierce chops that guy throws, and Pete Dunne forearms. They were going back and forth, and I'm like, man, this is tremendously stiff and tremendous at the same time. That was the point at the point of the match where the match really started to pick up. Pete Dunne and his finger torture. Look, man, Pete Dunne and Marty Scurll just needs to get in the ring and get it over with, or get in the room and get it over with. Just get it all out your system. The finger torture. It's just, every time I see it, I'm like, oh man, stop that. And look, it was just a phenomenal match. Pete Dunne locked on a double arm submission on Walter, and I was like, is this it? Are they really gonna have this guy submit in the middle of the ring? And I was thinking about it. I was like, no. I tell you what, when I really thought the match was over was when Pete Dunne hit the bitter end, and we got a heck of a near fall out of that. Towards the end of the match, the top rope powerbomb that Walter hit was just sick. It was sick. Like, Pete Dunne barely landed on his head. He just missed out on landing on his head, and that spot was sick. Walter would win, interestingly enough, with a splash from I think it was the top rope. He would pick up the victory with that splash, and the reign is over for Pete Dunne. Over a 600-day title reign, if I'm not mistaken, and just a phenomenal run. This guy is it. Pete Dunne is legit, man. He needs to be called up to the main roster like now. They need to get some feuds going with Pete Dunne. Like I said on my predictions and preview show, like, man, put him in the Intercontinental Championship feud or a United States Championship feud. Do something like that to get the guy going right out of the blocks. So Walter picks up the victory, and I have another quick takeaway as it pertains to a person in this match, and that is Walter. My next takeaway is that Walter, to me, and this is a hot take, and I'm sorry beforehand, Walter is overrated in my opinion. Look, man. Look, the guy is tremendous. This was my first full match of seeing him. I've seen highlights. I've seen a lot of things. I've seen his entrance at NXT UK TakeOver when he first debuted. I've seen a lot of things, but this was my first full match sitting down and watching him. And I gotta say, he's overrated. He is tremendous. Now, not overrated on talent. The guy's tremendous, but overrated on hype. He just doesn't meet the hype. The hype that I always hear of this guy is that he is one of the best in the world. And He is just not the best, one of the best in the world. He's just not meet up to the guys that I consider that are the best in the world. To me, he's not even the best big man in the world. That's just my opinion. There are plenty of big guys that I would take over Walter, but the guy is tremendous from a talent standpoint. It's just that the hype that he is one of the best in the world, I just do not see it. That's just my standpoint. That's just my view. And look, that's just how I feel. So moving on to my next takeaway, the ladies knocked it out of the park again. And look, we had a 4-way match here, to which when you look at it, anybody could have walked out of here with the title except for what I thought was one person, and surprisingly enough, I'll get to that later on. We had a lot of decent spots here. I like the at the beginning of the match, Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair had that face off, and it's like, oh man, here we go. We got a rematch of what happened in January. And I thought they did a really good job here. The Bianca Belair follow-away slam, which she caught Io Shirai off of a high cross, I thought that was impressive. Bianca Belair had a lot of impressive spots here. She had a nice press slam on Io Shirai to the floor. And look, at the end of the day, I also like that Tower of Doom spot that they did. That was pretty good as well. The double KOD that Bianca Belair pulled off was very impressive. But the thing that I like the most about this match is the Io Shirai and Kairi Sane back and forth that they had. They did not want to fight each other because they were best of friends, but guess what? The title was on the line, and the title knows no friends, so they had to go at it. And you can see that they really played it up really well, that it was bothering both of them, and that was the thing that I enjoyed most about this match. The match would end as Shayna Baszler would pick up the win with the choke out, and I'm like, man, I told you there was one person that I didn't think that could win this match, and it was Shayna Baszler. Like, at this point, I thought that was the wrong way to go. I think it's a bad move to have Shayna Baszler win this match, because at the end of the day, what else is there for Shayna Baszler to do? Like, she's a 2-time women's NXT champion. And then what else is there to do? They have beaten up the entire roster. What more does Shayna Baszler have left to do on NXT? You should have used this moment to crown Bianca Belair. She's gotten choked out 2 times by Shayna Baszler. She's starting to lose credibility. You know, you can't lose that many times after being so dominant with Bianca Belair. You can't ever tap out twice in a row like that, because at this point it's like, okay, who's next? Who's the next competitor? Because Bianca Belair has been choked out 2 times. Technically, she does not deserve to get another title shot. At this point, you need to be moving on to who's next. So I don't know who's next. I don't know what's next. I just know that Shayna Baszler wasn't the right choice here. It was an excellent match, however. So moving on to my next takeaway, boy, we had ourselves a good old match of the year candidate. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole, 2 out of 3 falls match. Woof, my goodness, what a match. The first couple of falls, I gotta say that they really focused on the technical aspect of the match, and it wasn't the warp speed that I imagined the match to be with the first couple of falls. There was a lot of technical back and forth. There was a lot of reversals. There was a lot of decent spots as well, but it was technical back and forth. Adam Cole picks up the first victory, and we had a pretty cool spot in the match where Gargano could have taken the count out on the second fall, but he rolls back in, and it ultimately ends up costing him as Adam Cole would regain momentum, but Johnny Gargano would lock on the Gargano escape for the second fall. And the third fall is when they went into warp speed. And looking back on it in retrospect, I can appreciate that. They wanted to build up the excitement to the third fall. Like, if they would have went at warp speed, like I thought the match would go, like who knows if they could have kept it up throughout the third fall. Personally, I think they could have, but what they did was they built up the drama to the third fall, and that's when things just got crazy. I like the spot where we had the multiple reversals, which led to the double super kicks. That was a phenomenal spot. The straight jacket German suplex from Adam Cole, which got a 2 count. That was a spot where you looked at it and you think, you know what? Maybe he wins it here, and he didn't. The Canadian Destroyer, that was another spot where you thought, okay, it's over. And Johnny Gargano kicks out. There were a lot of kickouts in this match. I like the spot where we had Adam Cole slam Johnny Gargano and what we thought would be a table break on the outside on the Spanish announce table. The table did not break. That just had to suck for Johnny Gargano. But we had the spots where we had the long 9 count and the fans are just into it. And Johnny Gargano rolls in after the 9 count. And this was just a phenomenal match. Eventually, the Undisputed Era comes down, and I'm thinking, oh man, are they gonna have Adam Cole win this way? I don't want it to end this way. So, Adam Cole gets a count after all of that, and Johnny Gargano kicks out, and Adam Cole is just losing his freaking mind. We had Johnny Gargano with the draping DDT and the hangman DDT. That got a 2 count. The Ciampa S draping DDT, that is, got a 2 count. And this was just a crazy match, man. It would end as Johnny Gargano locked on the Gargano escape. Adam Cole taps out, much to my surprise. And Johnny Gargano finally picks up the big one. He wins the NXT Championship. And I gotta say, much like the Shayna Baszler thing, I thought the wrong person won here. This was supposed to be Adam Cole's crowning moment. Like I said on the preview, moments matter, man. And this was WrestleMania weekend. This was the time to put the title on Adam Cole. And I tweeted out before the match, man, I hope they don't give Johnny Gargano a token title reign. And that's what it feels like here. Johnny Gargano was supposed to beat Ciampa at this takeover. This was supposed to be his moment. All of a sudden, Ciampa gets hurt. They insert Adam Cole. And Adam Cole is deserving, and he needs that title to get to the next level as far as NXT goes. And it felt like they had pity for Johnny Gargano. They wanted to give him his moment. And like Johnny Gargano is very deserving. He's one of the top talents in NXT history. But no, not here. Adam Cole was supposed to win here. And I know that eventually you can put the title on Adam Cole, but where is it going to come at? Will the moment be as big as WrestleMania weekend? Would the match be as big or as great as this one was? This was served up on a silver platter to give to Adam Cole, and I think they really missed an opportunity here. But I have no real problems with Johnny Gargano winning. He's very deserving. After the match, interestingly enough, it felt like they were stalling out for something. We kept seeing replay after replay after replay, and Johnny Gargano gets on the top of the stage, and here is Ciampa. Crowd goes wild. Ciampa hugs Gargano, he hugs Candice LeRae, and I'm just sitting there like, oh man, is he gonna throw him into the LED board? I just put my phone down, I'm just sitting there looking. Like, I'm not putting my head down until this thing fades to black. And it faded to black, I was like, okay, I can stop now. Now, to be honest with you all, the moment doesn't make much sense whatsoever, because the last time we saw Ciampa, Gargano was turning on him, and Candice LeRae hated the guy. So it made no sense whatsoever from a storyline perspective to see Ciampa hug or be buddy-buddy with Candice LeRae, much less Johnny Gargano as well. But when you throw in the real-life component to this, and the real-life component that Ciampa is hurt, that Ciampa's neck is injured for an entire year, like, okay, I can overlook it. Like, I understand it. This is a great moment, and I can overlook the nonsense from a storyline aspect and take in the effect of the real life perspective and see that it was a very heartwarming moment. So those are all of my takeaways from NXT TAKEOVER New York. Let me know your thoughts, whether that's in the YouTube comments or on Periscope or on Twitter at 2SweetPod. That's the number 2, Sweet Pod, or on Twitter at OMG Corey B. Let me know your thoughts.